on the agenda. We have to create a comprehensive framework that allows all countries to adapt. Here again, the Clean Development Mechanism has shown that levies on market mechanisms can bring to us what I have called a self-financing climate compact. Now, how to get to that new climate deal? In order to get to a new climate deal in 2009, it will be crucial to set the right order for the discussions. In my opinion, that means we should let form follow function. I suggest to leave the drafting of text for the second year and to use 2008 to focus more on the instruments that will fill the toolbox. After all, the kind of instruments at your disposal determine what you can build with it. Likewise, you'll probably not feel tempted to run a marathon if you are told you have to do it barefoot and without water supply, especially in this weather. The discussions on the sensitive issues of which countries should take on exactly what targets can then be addressed next. Having said this, these discussions should, in my opinion, be guided by the range of -25% to 40% for industrialized countries, as suggested in Vienna just a couple of months ago. Let me turn to that toolbox that I talked about. What kind of instruments does a new international agreement have to offer to, one, make money go where it has never gone before, and secondly, further engage developing countries by putting in place the incentives to spur their growth to a low carbon future? I believe that especially in these discussions, input from the business sector is of great added value. Your contribution is of utmost importance to make the future climate change deal not only environmentally, but also economically sensible and viable. Let me mention a few options for this comprehensive toolbox that might interest you. First of all, and that will probably not come as a surprise, the carbon market can play a crucial role in this. It's a cost-efficient way to cut back emissions. It gives business flexibility in meeting their targets, and it has the potential to spur huge north-south financial flows which are needed to engage developing countries. Whether the huge potential of the carbon market will be fully seized depends on the political will in developed countries to take up ambitious targets. Having said this, it's also clear to me that the carbon market alone cannot do the trick. There is a clear need for additional government policies and public money. First of all, to create a favorable investment climate and to drive new low-carbon and also adaptation technologies into the market. This can, for example, be done through soft loans, venture capital, and tax incentives. Secondly, to finance projects and technologies that the market does not automatically take up, like carbon capture and storage, for example, by stimulating joint research and development on a bilateral basis. And thirdly, to support policy initiatives by developing countries through international financial institutions, the Climate Change Convention funds, and bilateral government-to-government cooperation. So what we need is what I tend to call intelligent financial engineering. And by that I mean blending public and private money in a clever way. So, ladies and gentlemen, the challenge is huge, but it's not insurmountable if addressed comprehensively and intelligently. To be able to frame a new international climate change deal that is effective in terms of emission reductions and at the same time makes economic sense, solid inputs from the business community are indispensable. And I would therefore call on you to take up this challenge. And I'm grateful, in fact, to see that you've already begun to do so. Late last week, Bjorn gave me what I think is a fantastic publication on the future role of utilities. I don't know if you've seen it, but it maps out the energy sector technologies that can take us to that clean energy future. It maps out where these technologies are in terms of the move from lab to market. And it indicates exactly what governments need to do in order to help business go the extra green mile and pull those technologies into the market. And that is exactly the kind of contribution from the World Business Council which I really appreciate. By organizing this first global business meeting, you have made a clear statement that you stand ready to deliver. And I therefore hope that this first Global Business Day is the start of a new tradition. In that sense, Bali might very well also represent a breakthrough for business. Thank you.